So today we're going to be doing a fun little, again, 4" by 4" because I am so happy working on this size. I'm doing a little duck, and I was playing with just a scrap not a scrap, but just a pre-painted piece of panel here that with this little duck swimming. But I found a photo, and I'll put it up here on the screen. It's got a really dark background, so your sparkles show up really well, and the little duck shows up really nicely too. I'll show you. Super easy to draw. I love little ducks because they have personality. We're using the acrylic gouache again today. I pulled out basically a rainbow. I have white, cad red medium, permanent orange, permanent yellow deep, permanent green middle, Prussian blue, burnt sienna, and jet black. And I'm going to just start getting those onto here. Now that I told you what I have, we're going to speed up this little bit. All right, we're going to get this dark, dark, dark background in. Cool thing about this background, it does have black and brown and blue. We're going to have this really deep background. There might even be a touch of green in it. Now to you it's going to look just pretty much like I'm painting black on here. And right now for me it pretty much looks like that too. So we're gonna start bringing some of these colors in. I don't care that I'm getting paint on the table. Don't worry. If you're working on top of a varnished surface, you can wash the acrylic paint off. At least I can. I used a magic eraser, and if you want to see how that works, check my videos. I've got it in the... I've got it tagged in the iCards, but, you know, you can see exactly, and it doesn't take, you know, only 2 minutes real time. Not even 2 minutes real time. I'm just getting some black on here around the edges. I want to put a little bit of this blue in. I could have stuck this down, but I like to move my canvas around. So we've got a bit more green in the water, a bit more, little bit of brown in the water, which is kind of like some reflections of things. There's even a touch of red in the water. Just look at the reference. What I'm trying to do is get the water all done, so then all we have to do is put the duck on. So that's looking good. I'm going to take some of that brown and the red, mix those together a little bit. Notice I'm doing this all with this big brush. I need a touch of white. Not a lot. I need to just lighten this up a little bit down here. This is where the duck reflection is going to be in the water. It doesn't have to be perfect. The water is moving. So because the water is moving, you don't have to worry about, you know, making sure that everything lines up perfectly with where your duck is. Things reflect and refract. Just putting these little lines going back and forth with the color and a touch of white. There we go. Now I'm going to grab a bit of the white with this gray goop on my brush, and I'm looking at this going, there's some little reflections. I don't want them to be the, you know, super bright white. And then there's a bit of an arc of the ripple. Since I have the dirty paint on my brush, I'm getting some high highlights, but I'm also getting the low soft light. Right now it looks kind of messy, doesn't it? It's okay. If you look at the water, look at that the reference. There's a lot going on, and I'm trying to distill that down into a smaller, more reasonable, you know, this tiny little canvas. Dirty brush, picking up some white, putting on some little highlighty bits. There will be some high highlights put in, but to start off with, I don't want them. I'm going to stick those in after that's going to be so cute. Soften those up a little bit. Maybe put a little bit of brown and white together with a little bit of that orange. I'm just using the corner of this brush. Let's see if we go to the other. One of the nice things about this paint is that you are going to see everything after it's dry, because this is a matte paint. Let's see, I want to keep it down here. But I am trying to keep my brush strokes sort of curved a little bit. Get them just dropped in. Look at your reference. And enjoy the process. This is does not have to be a speed painting. You know, it's take time. Look at your subject. If you have the opportunity to go out and paint in real life, go do it. Looking at the real thing, not just a photograph. But you know, if all you've got are photographs, you can still make fun paintings. I paint a lot from photos. Mostly because I'm painting for you guys, and I want you to be able to paint along with me. So I can't take you all outside. So there we go. Since I can't take you all outside, I'll take you along with a painting of a photo. This photograph is from Unsplash. All right, so that's good. We're going to dry that, because now we're going to need to get our little ducky on here. Design is great if you want to do paintings for nature lovers in your life. Sometimes it's hard to find a little bit more masculine or less frilly. Now, to draw this little guy in, he's super easy. Basically, you're going to do a big flattened oval like that, kind of an egg shape, a little bit, or potato. Draw a potato. Draw a potato. Then you're going to put his little head on, and it's about a third of the way back, almost half, where his little neck is. That head might be a little bit big. Then you're going to put a little upside down scoop. That's the top of his beak. You've got a little cheek type scoop that actually comes back to make like the cheek. And then sort of a rectangle for his beak. And it has a little triangle-y bit that will work out in a minute. Up here at the top, you see where that scoop is? His little eyeball is back here. And then you can adjust his head coming down into his neck. And right now, I see I need to bring his little circle out and his beak a little longer. If you don't want to draw this, I will have a better representation for you that you can just download, a template. But I'm just drawing and refining, and right now it looks like a whole bunch of nonsense lines. Actually, I'm going to wipe this one off. Yeah, let's just damp brush, not wet, just damp, no paint. Just softening up those the chalk lines. The paint is not completely cured on here, so I am kind of mushing my paint around a little bit. We're going to dry this. Sometimes the drawing doesn't go on the first time. I could trace it off. You know, like I said, I do have a cute little duck here. I have drawn it. I know I can. And I know you can too. So let's look at this. I need his little body coming around. Coming up to his chest. I think what happened is that I got his head on too big to start off with. His little head. His beak. I keep saying he, but it's actually I think this is a she. The body comes around. The beak is completely inside of the body. There we go. That's feeling better. Sometimes you just have to do it again. And don't stop until you're happy. I think that's enough to get this little guy on. It is going to, it is going to lose some of the details that I've drawn. If you don't make this back big enough, it's going to look like a duckling, which is okay, but ducklings don't quite have the feather pattern. So I need to make sure I make the chest deep enough, the breast deep enough there. I think that's good. I think that's good. There's going to be dark along there. By putting the dark background in, you kind of give yourself half your colors already because you've got your deep undertones. I am going to grab, this is just a, doesn't say, round Artist Loft, probably a number 4. I think that's what I decided it was last time. I'm going to grab some burnt sienna and yellow. And I'm going to get this little chest put in. I think this, oh, what a pretty cinnamony color that is. I'm going to paint around the beak. I'm not going to paint over the beak because I want to keep an eye on where that is. I'm going to grab a little bit of blue and black with that brown. We're going to put this darker tone underneath. this, the shadow under the body, under the breast, towards the water. It's a wedge of color though. It's not straight across. So I want to make sure that I've got some of that lighter brown tone in there. And I just went over there with my dirty brush. I'm not too worried. This is, you know, you're blocking in, you're getting your first layers, you're filling up the canvas. I don't particularly want the canvas texture in my little duck. So I'm kind of filling in that texture a little bit. That's going to be good. Maybe a little bit of that's a little bit more straight brown. Yellow lightens your colors. So when you want to lighten a brown, grab your yellow, and then it won't go all pastel on you. I'm going to add a little bit of blue into my brown now. And I'm going to have it on my brush, but not completely mixed. It's not completely mixed. There's a little bit of barring coming back here into the feathers. So I'm just kind of getting that idea there. And then this color is more up on the back. Part of what makes the head shine or show up better is that the back is dark. But there are variations in color, so you don't have to have a solid chunk of dark. I'm going to add a little bit of red to this, I think. Just change the hue just a little bit. Want to make it dark though. Almost a blue, brown. That little bit of red in it. There we go. It's sort of a shiny browny blacky tone, different from the water. And the way this is going to show up better is that there's going to be highlights on it, and the highlights are going to be like a gray, which will look shiny, even though this paint is not. My brush is dirty. I'm letting the dirty brush paints kind of come out. This is coming back into the wing area. There's some variety of color back here. It's going to stick up past the body a little bit. It's going to be some lighter colors. And then I want a little bit of that orange with the brown. And some more yellow. Making kind of a yellow ochre type of color. And that's going to come over here on the head. The line of the duck's head is not a hard straight line. There's feathers. And if you let the tip of your brush, let's move to that other camera again. So you see the line here is not a hard line. It's soft. yellow in that. Yellow is lightening this brown, and it is making it more of a yellow ochre type of color. Brightens it up. Brighten that cheek up a little bit. As it comes around, maybe get that a little bit darker right there. Shadow under. Maybe even a little bit darker right underneath of the bill. I've got some of that extra dark. I'm just dropping it off down here, putting some of that light on the side also. This is my duck, you know. Your duck does not have to look like this. There we go. Bring some of that lighter color down here on this edge. I love the matte quality, the velvetyness of this, and the pigmentation. This is really nice paint for doing this type of painting. Let's see here. I'm turning this sideways so that it's easier for you to see, but it's not as necessarily as easy for me to paint. So I am having to rotate. I'm putting some more red. I'm trying to make more of a kind of a mahogany brown. So a mahogany brown has a little bit of red in it. By learning how to mix your colors, see a color and then mix the color, it builds more pathways in your brain, I guess, is what I've been told. Keeps your brain healthy. All of the arts keep your brain healthy, though. So do something creative. Being creative keeps your brain healthy. A little bit of the darker shadow off that side. His little beak is actually a very red-blue with a lot of white. Let's see, a lot of white. I need to spritz my palette. This paint does skin over. It is acrylic and you can't reactivate it. So, oh, there we go. That's a good set of base tone. And then grab a little bit of that red, maybe a touch of orange. Start adding some more color in here. See, I'm working all around. I'm not staying in one place for the whole time. Kind of darker tip up bit here. His little scoop on his bill. He has that sort of dark stripe coming down. He's got a nostril. Then I need some red on the other side. We're going to go back to the top down. I hear ya. I hear ya. All right. go. That's good enough for now. We can always come back and refine. So that's good. All right, I'm going to take some of that dark up in here. Give me a little bit of texture. I might paint over it. But you know what? It gives me more area to build on. I'm just sort of putting his little feathers in. Little area over his eye. And we've got the area on the other side of his bill. That's good. Good old duck bill here. A little bit of feather action going on there. I'm going to grab some of this yellowy color that I made with a little bit of white, and we're going to put a little fluff of feather coming out here and there, not having to make it perfect. I want to make it a little longer there. There we go. Needs a little bit of that light up here on his head. Maybe even a little bit lighter. Sometimes you go too bright though, and you'll just have to take it back a little bit. Like right now. Take it back just a little. Oh, he's looking so cute though. Get a little bit of this light down here on this edge. She's looking really cute. They are looking really cute. I don't know. This might be a male. Depends on the breed of duck. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty duck. Has lovely feathers. I am going to go ahead and rinse my brush. We need to get the highlight on those feathers in back and get their little eye in. Put some highlights on the water and we'll be done. So highlight on the back, some blue, and a lot of white. Touch of brown. It's actually, that's too bright still. So I need a little more brown in that. There we go. Feathery feathers on the back. Now, I am just figuring this out. I have not painted this one before as a test or anything. So, you know, that might be just a wee bit too much. I'm going to come back in and soften. Oh yeah, see? Soften those feathers, leave a little bit of the detail. Don't have to take it all out. that just softens it in, builds your layers of detail. Bring a little bit more of that brown. I am loving this. I think that this would be an awesome card, an awesome little painting for somebody's office or den. You know, Father's Day, Mother's Day. If mom likes ducks, this would be beautiful for her. If you've got a grandparent or a cousin or a friend who loves ducks in general, go for it. So right here, it doesn't blend. It looks like it goes boop, boop. And you want this to be a blend going around the body. So I'm going to take this and get a transition color so I can sort of soften it in. See how that just right away, almost instantly, soften that around. Up there is a little lighter. Get some feathers going on there. Oh, wow. A little bit of this down here, brighten it up just a little. Your acrylics in general do dry slightly darker. You might get a color shift if you're not prepared for it. It might surprise you. So just understand there will be some color shifting. In gouache, your darks tend to dry lighter and your lights tend to dry darker or deeper. Pretty. Got to get his eye on. His eye is that eye is actually a deep brown, not a black. So we're going to go the deep brown eye, like that. It does have a pupil, and it does have a highlight. So we're going to take a little bit of actual black. I'm going to have to do a couple more canvases. There's so much paint on this palette. Dot of actual black in there. Then I need to dry it real quick so I can get the highlight and the rim of his eye, or their eye. All right, so now we need, first you need a highlight that is just lighter but not white. So I just have a mixture of the muck on my palette. So I'm taking a mixture of a little bit of white and some of the brown tones that are on the palette. I have a very fine tip on this brush. I'm going to go in and do the underlid. I can cool it or move it back in just a second. So underlid, there is a darker line under that. Darker line on the inside of that. This is tiny work. Use a small brush if it makes you happy. Grab just a little bit more white. it's a little too bright. So I'm just going to get my brush wet and kind of move it around just a little. That under eye was too bright. That's what it is. So I'm just wiping it off. Just damp brush, wipe it off, grab a little bit of my black, get that pupil back in there, grab a little bit of the brown tones, the light brown tones, the yellowy brown tones, put some of that in for get that under eye. It's just like tap, tap, tap almost, just a tiny bit. A little bit darker behind. All right, I need to dry that so I can put the details in. If you get to a point where you can't see your details, you need to just stop and dry it. And I do tend to get quiet at this point. So there's actually a bit of a shadow line. That's it. That's it. That's where it was. I was trying to figure out why am I not able to get his little eye in. It's because this part of his head wasn't quite right. Needed a little bit more dark right down here to kind of push it in just a bit. Oh yeah. Now I'm taking some white with a little bit of the gray that's in my brush. And I'm looking at this going, there's like a dot and then another little dot. And then a little bit of a wet line underneath. Ooh, cool. All right. I'm seeing that there's some shadow under his little cheek right here. Just a little bit of some brown and yellow with a little bit of dark, which is kind of like my blue. And oh, there we go. That little cheeky bit. That little cheeky bit. Bring a little bit of that dark back here. Use it as a little margin meld bit right there. Love it. All right, now we're going to put on the water highlights. The water highlights are grayed out. They're not a completely bright white. So back here. By putting those highlights, or by putting the water in the background before, look at that. We're able to put the highlights on top and not have to worry about where everything's supposed to go. You've got details here. So we're going to get some little sparkle dots. They get a little bit bigger as you come forward. Some little sparkle dots. You've got some water ripple bits. Some little sparkle dots right close. This is where letting the canvas texture is fine with me. If you don't want it, just make your brush a little bit wet. Here, I'll show you. Tiny little bit of water. You see how that's making the paint flow around a little bit more. I really like this. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, that you will do this painting, and that you'll share it with me. Remember, this is part of my small nature art challenge. Nature art can be anything in nature. It does not have to be just plants. You can have animals. You can have people too. People can be nature. See. I see there's like a few little water drops. On this little dude. Rolling off. Probably had just done a quick shake of the feathers. So all I'm doing basically is putting little C shapes with the highlight on the downside, and then I rinsed my brush, and then I'm just going to take and sort of close the top of that C just slightly by touching the paint that's there, that's not dry. See that one right there? Didn't like it. See? Just damp brush. A damp brush is your friend. But there, we've got little water drops here and there. And maybe that one's a little too strong. A little too close to the one below it. I'll just make it go away. There's a little teeny tiny shadow at the top and the bottom of your little water drop. Teeny tiny shadow. Little shadow underneath. Little dab of, that's going to be too much. Tiny shadow under your reflection of your water drop, and then a little bit of a shadow up inside. Little shadow. That's how you see them. You know, water's clear, so it's all reflections and shadows. So we're going to dry this really quick. I'm going to remove the chalk and sign it. Damp brush. So I rinsed my brush in water and I'm drying it off on my towel so it's just damp. Then you can go in and you can touch where that chalk was, and you can even dab it. See, there was some chalk up here, just like that. I think that's all the chalk there was left. Oh, he's looking so cute. All right, I'm going to go in with, I think, some of that highlight gray. I hope that you enjoyed this fun little lesson. Cute little duck. Took less than an hour. And, it's one of those things. I'm tickled by this. And by painting every day or every few days, you start building your skills. And that's what doing these little tiny art challenge paintings is all about. Building your skills. So if you're interested in the Tiny Art Challenge, it is #SmallArtChallenge 2022 or Small Nature Art Challenge. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and go sailing along with this cute little duck. We'll see you back here again really soon. Don't forget to do something creative, take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. Bye, friends.